Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me at this time of the day. Whether you're watching live or you're going to be watching later, pre recorded on YouTube or Facebook, I really appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me as I prepare to give you an update regarding my legal case with Alph Lukau. Alph Lukau is supposedly a pastor of Congolese descent in South Africa. In 2017, after I received reports about him, a lot of allegations against him, I went out and started talking about it, and on radio, on TV, so many things, very serious allegations, and he decided to take me to court. But before he took me to court, he actually, his bodyguard rather, called Wiseman Magazela, called my wife around midday on the 7th of January, 2017. And he asked her to come to the police station in Sandton, Morningside Sandton in Johannesburg. Now, my wife was 7 months pregnant with another little baby. Unlucky enough, I was with her in the car then. She asked him, "Who are you? Why do you want me to come to the police station? Are you a policeman?" "No, just come to the police station." "Who are you?" "Just come to the police station." And of course, you want to respect the laws and everything. So when you hear somebody saying, "Come to the police station," you automatically feel like this has to do with the police. And we went. On getting to the police station in Sandton, there were 3 men waiting for us. 2 of them with guns, in plain clothes. They were not policemen. One of them that I recognized was the chief bodyguard of Alph Lukau, Wiseman Magazela. And they took us into the police station. A policeman now took us into a room in the police station, a warrant officer. And he just stood by and watched these 3 men interrogate, threaten, and intimidate my wife, who was 7 months pregnant. And they telling her, "We know where you live. This is your address. This is where your parents live. This is your husband's passport number. What do you have to say all that? No, we want you to tell your husband to stay away, to stop talking about our prophet." She said, "Well, my husband is here." They couldn't even recognize me. And I recorded the whole conversation. I have never released it. Afterwards, I reported this issue to, we told them, if you have any problem with us, take the legal route. And the policeman was there for 30 minutes. He never said anything. So you allowed civilians to bring us into a police station and interrogate us in a police station, civilians. Now, what is that? How did you even get my wife's phone number? A day before then, we've received death threats, threatening phone calls from different people. You remember, my wife was 7 months pregnant with our second son. We got really angry. We told them, "You cannot do that. How can you even call us here to intimidate us?" And we reported to the station commander of that police station. We have emails to back that up. I recorded that whole conversation. I still have it. We opened the case. We never heard from that investigating officer right from 2017 until 2 weeks ago, out of the blues, after the judgment that I was given against me. He called my wife. After 4 years, nothing. He said no. He took the case to the court, and the court said that CD we gave them with the evidence was not formulated appropriately. But you never told us. You never gave us any progress with the case or anything. Injustice and persecution. That's what we experienced with my family. That's why I said, if I go to prison, I will release that audio. Not just release that audio, I will make sure that this case goes to IPIT. IPIT is the body responsible to investigating police affairs. That way they would investigate the police, how 3 civilians could use the police station to intimidate another civilian. And we're going to take that back to court. Take that, report that issue, and report the fact that after 4 years, we never heard from the investigating officer. Next time he's calling and he is telling us our evidence was not formulated. After 4 years. And he indirectly telling my wife to drop the case. For what? We have evidence. We don't need to convince the court or the authorities of anything. All we need to do is to play the audio. I recorded that. We still have it after 4 years. Now, I'm here to give you an update regarding my sentence. In 2017, Alph Lukau took me to court. We settled out of court. Court said, don't defame him further. 2017, same year, I said certain things. He felt I defamed him, which was it was his birthday and he was given a Rolls Royce and a penthouse suit worth millions. He put it out there on social media. I put it out there. I said, but how can we as Christians people who are poor keep giving to the rich? Proverbs is clear about that. If you who are poor keep giving to the rich, you will stay poor. Took me to court. He said, well, you defamed him indirectly by liking a post of somebody who said he's a false prophet, by using a scripture that made indirectly making reference to him. So I was sentenced to prison, 20 days in prison, suspended for 2 years. During the suspension in 2019, that was when the resurrection miracle happened, when he allegedly raised Elliot from the dead. When Elliot was taken to the church, and they said he raised him from the dead. Later on, it's like, no, we didn't raise him from the dead. He was actually breathing when he got here, but he was in a coffin. It became a global news. And that was when I wrote certain things, said certain things that was not defamatory in any way, but it was said. Now they took it and took it back to the court, and they said, no, I defamed him, so that's contempt of court. So I need to go to prison. And we went back and forth. Even some of the papers that we filed, that was when they said the papers were not rightly filed. And we had to pay for part of their legal fee until that period, which was, you remember very well, where I gave you all the breakdown of how much I had collected. Some of you guys helped out, and I paid about 44,000 Rand for that. So I'm giving you a background. Now, when that judgment came out about 3 weeks ago, I was committed to go to prison because I have counted the cost of persecution, of silencing people. It will shock you to know that there are a lot of people trying to silence me right now. And I'm going to take time to share that one after the other. There are big churches that are trying to silence me right now. There are individuals that are trying to silence me right now. Not because I lied about them or I said stuff about, no. Because I'm exposing the truth about them, which is very ugly. So at this stage, after I was sentenced, I was ready. But my legal team decided to say, hey, let's study this judgment carefully and look for a way to put in an application for leave to appeal, which means going before the judge and saying, look, we would want to appeal. And the judge could say, okay, look, you have a chance of appealing. Yeah, if you don't have a chance for appealing, you will be told that. So that's where we are right now. I was sentenced and I was asked to pay their cost of their legal cost. So I have to raise money. Some of you guys have really helped out in so many different ways, and I appreciate every one of it. And you see where we are going with the whole vision for Solomon's Temple is we have to consistently be on our toes. And I am saying that because right now there is a lot of battles that I'm fighting where I need to set up a permanent legal cost and legal and operational cost support, where there's going to be finances coming in. Anytime you feel the Lord laying in your heart to support my operation, my legal cost, I put it out there. Yesterday, I got great news of a girl who we did a documentary on and supported her. Her spiritual father, who forced himself on her, got her pregnant. She went to tell him, forced himself on her again. He was convicted yesterday and he's going to be sentenced on Wednesday. Those are the kind of work that gives me fulfillment, where people do not have a voice. How can we be voice for the voiceless? You don't have to be Solomon, but you're supporting in your own way. So now we're putting in a leave to appeal. And I want to go through a few of the points from our application for leave to appeal. Sentence. So it's a leave to appeal. A lot of people have been asking, so why haven't you been to prison yet? Why haven't you been to prison? It's because my legal team was looking at the judgment again. What's the judgment right? And in all fairness, everybody deserves a chance, and justice should be for everybody. And they looked at the judgment and they felt, no, I think here, and here, the honorable lady judge didn't give a fair analysis and conclusion to it. Now, this is one of the points, just some extract from our application for leave to appeal. One of the points we raise is central to the application herein, which is our application for leave to appeal, is a question whether the publications, that is what I said on TV, on radio, on Power FM, and also on social media, whether the publications by the respondents, as alleged, constitute any further wrongful or defamatory allegations, comments or remarks against respondent in breach of any of the aforesaid conditions. Now, the first time I was sentenced to prison, what it was said, the suspended sentence was, do not make any further wrongful. Any further. Did I make any further? So we have a situation where we went to court and they argued that even the things I had said before I was sentenced, the suspended sentence, to the things I have said after that, though the same, they are saying that it's still defamatory. But it's the same thing. I'm just repeating it in a different context, where I actually said, look, the court didn't find these allegations strong enough. So now you're using it against me, saying that I defamed him. Second point It's an interview I did on Power FM on 25th of February 2019. Power FM in Johannesburg, for those of you guys who are international and watching. Here we raise the point that the court erred in finding that publications made during the aforesaid interview were same and or similar in terms of those in respect of which the previous court orders were granted. What I did in that interview was to just retell what had happened. Didn't say anything new, didn't say anything fresh. .1, we said from the outset, we point out that the reading order by Mabesela J, which was the judge that sentenced me, suggests that the breach of the aforesaid condition can only be constituted by any further wrongful and or defamatory remarks, not same or similar remarks. So how can you say, after I make the same and similar remark, even added the fact that the court didn't find it strong enough, now you are saying it's defamatory? You're saying it's defamatory. You're saying it's wrongful. So I'm trying to get you into some of the technicalities of the whole case, just so you can understand. That's all I'm going to do, for the maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes that we're going to spend together. And again, part of the application for leave to appeal, that is why we want to appeal, is because we feel, my legal team feels, the court erred in finding that the applicant not only challenges the contempt order, but clearly illustrate that the applicant was well aware of the consequences of his failure to adhere to the court orders, which I stated. Another point is the court ought to have found that the publications, that is what I put out, the herein were made in general terms without specific reference to respondent. Even if it was so, it is submitted that a willful and deliberate intention to defame or ignore respondent's reputation is far-fetched, given that most of the publications complained were made during interviews and various social media platforms other than his. Finally, this is important at the very end of the application. We said in the final analysis, point out that the court erred in its general finding that the applicant contravened conditions set out in the contempt order, and also erred in not declaring that a specific publication, advancement, comment, utterances made by the applicant in any of the aforesaid alleged publications, broadcast, interview contravened and or breach conditions of a suspended sentence set out in the contempt of court order. 11. In the premises aforesaid, it is submitted that there exists reasonable prospects of success, and that an appeal should be allowed as contemplated in Section 17(1) of the Superior Courts Act of 2013. So a lot of technicalities there. I'm also getting used to all this, legal things from a technical perspective. But if you understand a bit of it, so be it. But it was just putting up a leave to appeal, and those are some of the points that we gave. Why we want a leave to appeal the sentence. That is, the judgment, sorry, not the sentence. And again, it is important for us to keeping on for truth. Solomon's Temple is all about the truth. There are a lot of battles that I'm fighting right now, legal battles also behind the scene, that very soon I'm going to make you aware of it. A lot of people, churches, individuals are trying to shut Solomon's Temple down. They're trying to shut me down. Just because I'm saying stuff about them that is ugly, things that they do behind the scene that no one is aware. So they look for loopholes, they look for things, and they create things just to make sure, they get me into a corner and silence me. As long as I don't talk about them, we're good. As long as I do not expose what they're doing that is not godly, that is not even legally okay, they're good with me. As long as Solomon is quiet, we're good. But how can you be quiet in a nation and a continent where people are being persecuted, deceived, manipulated? False prophets, charlatans, and pastors are having a field day. How can you be silent? How can you be silent? I cannot be silent. You cannot be silent. None of us should be silent. We might not play the same role, but we can support each other. And I encourage you to support what I do. Like I said, we've now set up what we call Solomon's Temple legal/operation cost. Any donation, any amount that you give, 50 Rand, 100 Rand, $10, $20 will go into that, because the Lord has showed me there's going to be a great legal battle and a great need for it. And thank you for believing in this. Some of you guys were captured by these charlatans and false prophets, but today you are out. Praise God. How about those that are still in there? Those that are being abused and victimized? What small role can you and I play through Solomon's Temple to really help them out? I'm raising not just legal fees for my case with Alph Lukau, but legal costs when it comes to Solomon's Temple and what I do. Because there are. And I would give you the privilege, anytime our books is done, twice, that is our accounts, to give you a breakdown. I love to be transparent, give you a breakdown of how much came in, what it was used for, like I normally do. And if you want to have some sort of a breakdown or whatever, you can inbox me. But we want to do that officially twice a year, just so we can have an auditor, an accountant that will look at everything and put everything together. So I would love to ask you, as we continue this battle, to support what I do. There's a lot of you guys, if you're local, you can support the legal cost of Solomon's Temple, legal and operational cost of Solomon's Temple, by supporting us with a donation to this account, NL Asham Net Bank account number 1159307792. Or if you want to speak to me about how you want to go about it any other way, you can do that through this number, where our Telegram partners are. You can send me a message, a WhatsApp message, or Telegram message to this number, +2767 397 77197. And this is the account number again. Now, what a friend of mine in Canada did was to set up a GoFundMe site. You guys know the website gofundme.com, which is where NGOs and people who do charity works or people who do good works go there and raise support and money, and for different reasons anyway. So if you go to www.gofundme.com and you Google my name, Solomon Izang Ashams, you would see a page that was set up for me that you could also donate wherever you are. And in Africa, we cannot set up a GoFundMe account. There's only a few, I think just about 16 countries that can set up a GoFundMe. So a friend of mine in Canada, did that for me. So anywhere you're in the world, you can go in there and donate. There's a big fight before us. It's a very big fight before us. I have put out the link to the GoFundMe page that was set up for me right here in our conversation. If you check it out, you will see the first two conversations. It's right there. Please check it out. I've given you a background, and trust me, the audio that I have of Alph Lukau's bodyguard intimidating, harassing my wife, a civilian using the police station, which is criminal, to harass my wife with no involvement of any police personnel. I have the audio. It's going to be scandalous when I release that. The police station itself is going to be in trouble. How you allow 3 civilians to come and use a police station to harass another civilian. They didn't have a case. There was no case open there. The whole meeting wasn't facilitated by a police person. No. So how come you gave them access? So you mean any civilian can just come to your station? And the warrant officer was just, no, I thought they were police. No, you don't just say that. The whole Hallelujah ministry, they're going to be also in that same case, because they were there saying we're representing our church, our man of God, as they said, harassing my 7 months pregnant wife. You called her, and my wife has nothing to do with this case, has nothing to do with what I do. She's just my wife. My wife is an auditor. She's an auditor. She's a chartered accountant. That's her field. That's her pulpit. That's where God has called her to be and to work. Mine is different. I'm a media person. But now you got her phone number from we don't know where, and you called her to come to the police station. This cannot continue. That's why I'm telling you, for years they've been trying to silence me, and they have intensified it recently by trying to take me to court. Anything you go to court. Well, Jesus is still on the throne. I know this calling is going to cost me financially, time-wise, mentally, maybe even physically. But I'm not going to be quiet. You're not going to silence me. Again, thank every one of you for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's do this together. This is not about me. This is about the victims that have been blinded, that have been used and abused over and over for so many years. This is about the multi-millionaire charlatans and false prophets and fake pastors that have abused scriptures, turn who God is into a business, and then run away like Bushiri. Since I started this, there's about 4-5 different bishops and pastors and prophets that are right now either being convicted and sentenced, or they are right now in prison. We can't be silent. We can't be silent. We have to speak out. So I want to thank you again. As I give you this feedback, I would continually bring you feedback. As soon as we hear from the court, I'll bring you feedback. But keep praying. Keep praying for what? Keep praying for the will of God to be done. The prayer in Matthew 5 is, Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom, and the kingdom of God be established in our midst. Thy will be done. Not my will, not your will, not the will of the judge, not the will of any attorney, not the will of any pastor, not the will of God be done. And so shall it be. Thank you so much. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you. And may He continue to raise you to be somebody who is a speaker of truth, who is not afraid.